Now entering Nerdist.com.
Hey, everybody. My name is Razzle.
And I'm Dan.
And we want to thank you all for downloading today's episode of Today We Learn.
Number 22.
Number 22. We got a great show for you guys.
Dave Holmes is here.
Dave Holmes. You guys know him from MTV. You know him from VH1.
Say What Karaoke back in the day. FX's DVD on TV. He's been doing a ton of stuff. He was on Reno 911 a lot as well.
Yeah.
Really funny guy.
Yeah, really cool dude. Really nice guy. He's joining us today. And you learn a lot of cool things.
Yeah, he's definitely been one of the better guests we've had so far.
Yeah.
Sorry, other guests. Step up your game. We still love you, but Dave Holmes.
It's a fun, good episode, so hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Hopefully you guys enjoy it enough to give us a good rating on iTunes.
Yeah, 5 thumbs ups.
5 thumbs up. We say this every episode, but, we really appreciate you listeners, and, we'd like to move up on the iTunes chart, so in order to do that, we need our listeners, our friends and our fans to give us good reviews, write a comment. I don't care if it's snarky, funny, degrading, talk about how stupid I am. I don't give a shit. Just give us a comment on iTunes, give us a good rating, and we'll love you a long time.
Yeah, just don't be a dick is the general takeaway here.
Absolutely. Once again, this episode's brought to you by T-Fury.
Tfury.com.
T-Fury.
They are your original pop culture teacher destination, selling unique designs every day since 2008, and you can snag their T-shirts for only 24 hours starting at midnight.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of these guys.
Huge fan.
We get different sponsors from time to time. It's something you encounter in your life as a podcaster. But I can definitely say I've been a fan of these guys for a while, so I'm very grateful that they are supporting our podcast.
Yeah, I really like their stuff. I just like everything about it. I like T-shirts and I like nerd shit.
Exactly.
And they're like a young startup.
They're good dudes.
I'm a huge fan of startup companies, and it's great because not only they have their shirts on sale for 24 hours starting at midnight, but if you happen to if you're missing a shirt from the past and you want to get it again, head to the T-Fury Gallery where you can buy some old designs still in print and vote on others to come back from the dead. Every 2 to 4 weeks, T-Fury will add more designs to their gallery, so be sure to keep an eye out for the return of your favorite shirts. It's like if there's a movie you want to see, but you want to wait till it's on DVD. Make note and keep checking.
But don't wait too long because otherwise all the copies are going to get rented from your local Redbox. Anyway, T-Fury, the shirts, as you mentioned, you love nerd shit. The nerd shit they cover.
Nerd shit.
All your favorite topics and fandoms, everything from gaming, sci-fi, anime, TV, movies, pop culture, more. They get so specific. They mashed up Game of Thrones with the great anime series Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If you like it, they probably have something about it. And their shirts change daily, so check back as often as you'd like. You're going to find something new.
Absolutely. You'll find something you like, something new. It's like the wedding. Something new, something borrowed, something blue.
And a T-shirt that's blue.
And
if you say you missed the day shirt just by a little bit, they keep the sale going to the wee hours of the morning with the T-Fury after-hours sale. So do us a favor. Check out tfury.com, teefury.com/nerdist, and see what today's shirt is all about. teefury.com/nerdist.
And that's a / / they're all the same. /Nerdist.
You'll know which slash it is if your first one takes you to a broken website. You should really know by now. You're old enough.
Yeah,
You've been raised
smart.
with this. Yeah. Unless you're a baby, in which case I'll forgive you just this once.
Yeah. tfury.com/nerdist. Want to thank them once again. We want to thank you guys, and we want to thank our guest Dave Holmes.
Yeah. Without further ado, open your ear holes and prepare to be boarded by knowledge.
Yeah. Today we learned with our guest Dave Holmes.
Today we learn.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Brief intermission.
It's a lot of fucking dick jokes.
But by the way, that voice you're hearing, in case you haven't figured it out from the title of this podcast, is our guest today, Dave Holmes. Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Welcome.
I like how we just kind of
exactly.
sneakily started recording.
Yeah, you got element of surprise is crucial, especially in podcasts.
Yep, I think it's key. I'm going to apologize right away that I'm totally brain dead.
Okay.
It is. I don't know if we can reveal this, but it's January. What is it? 8th?
8th?
Yes.
9th?
Something like that. 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
This is the first week back from a very long holiday break.
Yeah.
Very
good break,
long.
I hope.
Oh, it was great.
Wonderful break.
It was great, but my brain just it refuses to come back.
I know what you mean. You gotta let the hard drive spool for a little bit.
Yeah.
Our listeners are used to it because I'm always brain dead.
Great.
So.
Great. You are in good company. Well, you're in company.
We laid down the groundwork.
Dan's the smart one out of this this facade.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it. I had a gig on Monday, and I was like, I truly was like, what do I do with this microphone?
Yeah.
Where do I look when I'm talking?
This
what do
is terrible ice cream.
Yeah. I honestly, I was as dumb and bad on camera as I've ever been. But one of these days, I swear to God, I'm going to come back. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the thing to bring me back.
This will be the kickstart that you need.
Well, I stole my nephew's EpiPen, so if you want some adrenaline,
Great.
Absolutely. Hopefully, he won't eat any peanuts while
if you're
I'm
listening,
borrowing
stay
it.
away from peanuts, bee stings, whatever. Stay in the bubble.
I'm going to try one of those one of these days. Like I don't do drugs, I don't drink anything like that. But the fact that it became, I learned this when I was back home visiting my family for the holidays. My nephews are both allergic to life itself.
Yeah.
And they have to carry around EpiPens, which I found out is just adrenaline.
Yeah.
And that intrigued me. And that's like, oh, wait a minute. I kind of, like, I'm not into taking substances, but I wouldn't mind being excited for a whole day.
Sure.
So,
Well, I mean, there is 5-hour energy, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
And Red Bull and whatever.
Yeah, but it
Sugar-free
doesn't go
Red
to your
Bull.
heart.
Yeah,
It doesn't go directly to your heart. It feels like it.
It kind of takes some of the edge off that scene in Pulp Fiction where they jam the giant needle through Uma Thurman's sternum. If you know, it's just a big ass EpiPen.
EpiPen,
Yeah. That's all that is.
That's all it is.
Oh, she's just allergic to all that heroin and cocaine.
Yeah.
What a bummer. What a weird allergy.
Cool. Well, let's. We started the show. Let's introduce everybody, I guess, right now. We want to thank everybody for listening to another episode of Today We Learned. My name is Razzle.
I'm Dan.
And as we've mentioned, our guest is the awesome Dave Holmes.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Again.
Hello again.
You're too kind.
In case you blacked out for the last minute and a half.
Which you might have. I'm telling you, it's hard to come back. I don't know when you're going to put this out there, but God almighty.
It's, Well, this will air on the 12th?
Yes.
Okay.
11th, this coming Monday.
It's
Okay,
airing-
great.
it's
So,
airing
by
whatever
then
day.
we'll all fully be back into the groove.
yeah.
Everything will be great. This will be such a quaint time we'll be looking back at.
exactly,
God, do you remember early 2014 when
No,
you just
back
could
in
not get
14.
started? Oh,
What's the...
Aught 14?
Yeah.
That's what we're just calling the 2000s.
Yeah, man,
Aught.
well,
I say
Okay,
20.
sure.
I say 20 because when it was 19, you said 19. Nobody
Yeah.
said 1985. It was always 19.
You didn't say 1,900
Yeah,
before.
exactly.
Yeah, but I do say 2014.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just kind of like the sound of it.
Yeah. 2014 is shorter. Now, here's a question we'll teach our listeners because I still don't know. How long can you say Happy New Year for?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
think.
Is there a standard?
I think I would say until probably about halfway through January, maybe the tail end of January. Depends on how long you haven't talked to someone.
Okay.
You have a little bit more leeway with emails and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I feel. But I think once you start getting to the end of January, early February, it's kind of implied, like, I probably wished you a Happy New Year. Like,
Right.
if I didn't say it out loud, I'm probably thinking it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think right about now.
Right
Yeah.
about now?
Right, yeah.
Whenever
right
you listen,
around-
whenever you hear this sentence in the podcast, that's your cutoff.
Now, after it is, it's like right after Labor Day,
Yeah.
right? After you hear this, when you hear the tone, it will be unacceptable.
I was really hoping we could. I'm going to start I'm not going to do anything because I'm very lazy, but I was thinking about Groundhog Day would be a good day, like, because then you're saying, "Hey, happy Groundhog Day." Let's just let's give us the whole month of January, so that way, I don't know.
Are there any other holidays in January?
Like President's Day or something stupid,
Right.
Isn't that?
Well, that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
like
Is
the
that-
21st or something.
Yeah. And then is February Martin Luther King Day, or is it the other way
February's
around?
MLK Day, and then you have.
Well, February's Black History Month, the whole month.
Right.
But then MLK.
That's why I thought that maybe Martin Luther King Day was January and President's Day was February.
I would
Am I
think.
correct? Oh, Martin Luther King. You're right. MLK
Yeah.
Day is January 20th.
That'd be such a bummer if
January,
Martin Luther
no.
King Day was in the middle of Black History Month.
Yeah.
I just feel like everything for you is in this tiny, shitty month.
Yeah.
It's like the worst month for everything, like
really
movies
is.
and everything.
Yeah.
Like
Weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life. Light.
such a bummer.
Like, it's the worst. It's the worst
Yeah.
month for light.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, like when it's dark at 4. Like it's the darkest before the sort of springtime
Exactly.
daylight savings.
And then you have to
dawn.
wait for this smarmy gopher, this
Yeah.
groundhog, to tell you whether or not you're going to get light for 6 extra weeks.
Right.
Well, I guess that's I'm not to. Well, I mean,
You
I'm
may.
huge, fan of what we're discussing. Figured we'd start the show. As we started the show, let's get to know our guests a little bit. I don't know if Dan mentioned it to you or you mentioned you listen to the podcast a little bit. We always like to start.
I do my research.
We always
Razzle.
like to. You're the first. Thank you. We would like to start off each show with the guest providing either an interesting fact about themselves or something that they learned recently really interesting or cool.
Oh, wow.
No pressure, no rules.
Yeah, it could be big or small.
It could be you learn something you read something on the news or something interesting about yourself.
Like maybe you just had a Snapple recently, read the cap.
That's true. How did I not know that this was coming? I think you probably forgot to do it in the episode that I listened to. I think that's probably. I mean, ultimately, I think it's your fault.
We tend to blur them together.
Let's see. What did I learn recently? I spent the last week in Napa.
Okay.
Ooh. So I learned that I cannot drink wine like I could in like my 20s.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 42 now.
Where you savored all these silky tannins and
well,
undercurrents of
no, I can
sandalwood.
taste it. I can and I can taste it as well as I could in my 20s, which is not very well. Like I'm not that refined.
This is red.
Yeah. No, I mean I know what I like and I know whatever. There are certain varietals that I like and I know whatever, but I can't. Distinctions of taste and smell and whatever are kind of lost on me. But drinking it in the volume that I like to drink it is not a thing that I can do anymore. And the hangover is not so much physical anymore as it is spiritual and mental. It's kind of one of those things that lasts a few days where you're just, like we didn't ever go fully crazy. Like there weren't any real crazy nights up there or whatever, but it was just sort of, long stretches of tasting wine and eating amazing food. And then at the end of it, it was just like existential terror on the whole drive home. So yeah. That's what I learned. Mass quantities of wine turns to existential terror after your 40th birthday.
That's good to know. Something to look forward to.
It is. No. And I wish I had better actual knowledge. And I know that there was some interesting fact that I learned lately, and I'll probably come up with it after I leave.
All right. Well, let's do.
I learned that your phone is on.
Yeah. I see it keeps blowing up. My friends. My friends and I. We love each other and we're friends, but we're on this group thread, and the whole thread is just the most derogatory, hateful things. Yeah. Like if anybody didn't know us, you'd think we hated each other, but it's the whole day. It's just like I just wish I could leave a thread for like certain moments of the day. Yeah. Because it's fun, but half the time your phone's it's just like motherfucker. Yeah. Like stop.
It does have an off button.
Yeah.
Group messages does.
Yeah. Just the entire phone.
Oh, the phone does. Yeah. Yeah. But then there's important things that I might miss.
True.
And I'm not
fair enough.
Yeah. Napa, I've never been to Napa. That's north.
That's great.
That's California, right?
Yeah, Northern California.
A little bit north of San Francisco.
No, that's the actual name. That's not an acronym for anything, right?
No.
All right.
No. It is. There's the Napa River that goes through it, and it's this big, beautiful valley, and thus it is the Napa Valley region.
Oh, that's awesome.
And back on the East Coast, there was a Napa Auto Parts.
That's true.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Napa know-how.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that commercial where it's like a guy goes into a Napa and he's got a question and the guy can answer it because he's got Napa know-how, but then he starts singing, the guy behind the counter, and he goes Napa know-how, but the way that they film it and the angle of the camera catches the underside of his tongue so vividly that it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. And it's a commercial actor. It's a guy you see in like every third commercial. Yeah. But it's like, and he gets really into it, but it's just the bottom side of a tongue is
pretty gross.
Horrifying.
It's veiny and it's got the line of muscle connecting it.
Yeah. It's bad news.
It's really gross. It's really gross. We were talking about light earlier, about like how February is the darkest before the springtime and all that.
Good segue.
Here's a fun fact about rainbows. I didn't realize this till the other day. Rainbows, in order to see a rainbow, the sun needs to be behind you. Your back needs to be facing the sun. Rainbows will only appear in the opposite direction of the sun.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's refracting the light.
Right.
Yeah. They're a phenomenon of light. So that makes sense.
It's just, something I've never thought about. You see rainbows and it's like, oh, that's really cool. But then it's just.
Does it have to be directly at your back?
Yeah, because rainbows appear in the part of the sky directly opposite of the sun. So, in order to see it, you would have to be having the back.
Have your back fully to the sun.
You might be able to cheat out a little bit.
You might be able to like pull a yoga pose where you're facing the sun, but your head is turned.
Okay,
like the sun pose.
Right. So if we're Instagramming it, we want to get the phone like exactly like with its back facing the camera, the sun.
Then be sure to put 100 hashtags with no spaces in between.
Right. Okay.
And don't use the Kelvin filter.
No,
because that'll make it too orange and you'll miss a couple of the hues.
I was hoping that was the black and white one, which would be a pretty great picture.
No, that's Willow, I think. I don't know. I use that. I should have. Anyways, I'm on Instagram too much.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah. So many filters.
I'm on Instagram a lot. No.
When I was a kid, I just thought rainbows were just things that happened. I remember seeing one when I was like it's one of my first memories when my family lived in New Jersey, and I was out walking with my mother, and we ran into this elderly couple who lived down the street, and we saw a rainbow, and they were out on their porch, and we all sat and we looked at the rainbow, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was the most beautiful thing, and then I like a week or so later, I just left the house by myself, and I went down to the elderly couple's house to just sit on their porch and wait for it to happen again. Because I thought that it was just something that would happen all the time, and also that they had some sort of control over it. Like they had a switch or something that they could pull. Really, all I did was panic my family because I left without saying goodbye, and I was 3. But yeah, I remember waiting for a rain, sitting in my little shorts with my hand on my little chin.
Now, this was in New Jersey?
This was in New Jersey. Yeah, I lived in New Jersey until I was 4 or 5.
Okay. Now, I was doing research and I read, because I was trying to find some facts about St. Louis. On your Wikipedia page, it says you were born in St. Louis. Is that a thing? Or you?
No, I was born in New Jersey and then mostly raised in St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea who wrote my Wikipedia page. I don't, and there's a lot of shit on it that's wrong, and I should fix it. And I've tried to fix it, but then it gets changed back.
Yeah, you're like, you're not an authorized user.
Yeah. I don't.
What would you know about Dave Holmes?
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do that. Is a fact I would love to know.
When I was a kid, this is how boring my childhood was. My mom would have me water the flowers or water her lawn or whatever, and I'd put it on that mister, and I would just mist it and look at the rainbow coming from the hoses. Oh. It's just it's so intriguing. Yeah, it's such a cool scientific phenomenon. Just lights. It's a really cool phenomenon.
Yeah, always in a perfect arc.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gorgeous. It's rainbows, guys.
Yeah, how do they work?
Yeah, so neat, so really cool. Yeah.
That's
our first fact. Rainbows are neat.
Rainbows are neat. Indisputable.
Rainbows are motherfucking awesome.
Rainbows are neat.
Neat.
So you mentioned hangovers.
Yes.
Speaking of booze, did you know that all the way dating back to Hammurabi's Code, it was decreed that bartenders who watered down their beer would be executed?
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
By the time
it was John Taffer on staff at Hammurabi's workshop.
Yeah, he was his bartender.
You've seen that show, yeah?
No.
Bar Rescue?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a show on Spike, and it's the kind of thing that I cannot fucking stand generally. I don't like the whole makeover show, Restaurant Impossible and all that shit. But for whatever reason, Bar Rescue is fantastic.
He's like the best one of that bunch.
So it's a bar makeover show.
It's a bar makeover show.
There's a whole bunch of them. There's mystery diners. There's restaurant stakeout. That guy is insufferable.
Yeah. They're all terrible. And John Taffer is terrible.
Robert Irvine of Restaurant Impossible just scares the shit out of me. He's got one of those heads that doesn't look like it belongs on his body. He's really jacked. And it's this tiny, nerdy British man head. Yeah. And it's scary stuff.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it because I hate this whole genre. But for whatever reason, I think it's because it's on Sundays and that tends to be kind of a lazy day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll show 3 or 4 of them in a row on Spike and I just get hooked. Yeah. And I especially love the fact that I love the bars before because I just want to know what did you think was going to happen in this bar? Yeah. There was one recently that was it was a horror / Juggalo themed bar in Vegas.
Finally.
ICP Juggalo.
Yeah.
Oh,
are there other kinds of Juggalos?
I don't know. Just checking.
Are there Juggalos for other bands?
I'm wondering why there's a Juggalo bar. And
not fully Juggalos, but just terrifying clowns.
Okay.
You know what I mean? All over the place, which is the least welcoming thing in the world, except for a Juggalo, I guess. Yeah. And also in 90% of the episodes I've seen, there's a surly, sort of nasty bartender, and they're always named Jesse. Which is very strange. There's always a petulant, shitty bartender with a neck tattoo and just a shitty attitude.
We're on to you, casting.
I don't get why I can't just take money out of the register.
Yeah. But they're constantly watering down their bottles of vodka or whatever, and John Taffer's not having it.
Yeah.
The scary clown themed bar has now been changed into a zombie apocalypse themed bar.
Okay, that's more
makes more sense.
That's
I guess it's more
right.
It's more in the zeitgeist.
It's more welcoming because a Juggalo would blend in as well as
would not feel unwelcome.
Yeah, as well as a fan of Walking Dead,
right? Now the next time I want to go to Vegas, I'm dying to go just because it looks like
it's
the
in Vegas.
Saddest, of course it's nowhere near the Strip. It's in sad Vegas.
Well, that reminds me. Back when I was living in Japan in college, I went to this bar called The Lockup, and it's a prison themed restaurant and bar. So we went with a bunch of friends, sat down at the table. Halfway through your meal, you're escorted to the table by waitresses in sexy cop uniforms.
Yeah.
Halfway through the meal, the lights go out, these alarms start going off, and these guys in monster costumes run in and start fucking with you. But what breaks the illusion more than anything is that before they came into your room, the monsters stopped to take off their shoes. Because,
oh wow, yeah,
it may be a theme restaurant, but we still have certain, mores and standards.
You
to
may
hold.
be a monster,
yes, but I'm not exactly.
Right. Wow, I love that. I want to go.
It's so absurd. I love it.
Yeah. So the man behind, what was the guy, bar rescue guy?
John Taffer.
John Taffer would have been right at home in Hammurabi's era because, as I mentioned, bartenders who watered down their beer were could be summarily executed.
Yeah.
By the time the code was set forth around 2nd century BC, beer was a very popular beverage across Mesopotamia and much of the biblical world, even though the Bible itself doesn't explicitly reference beer. Mm-hmm. So many brewers, bar owners, they watered down their product, used inferior grains to maximize profits. This disgusted Hammurabi, so he made it a point of interest to outlaw this practice, making it that if brewers and merchants did this, they could be executed. And the way they did this is my favorite part, is that they would be forcibly drowned in their own shitty beer.
Really?
Yeah, cold as ice. Eye for an eye, light beer for a light beer.
So like waterboarded with booze.
Yeah, that's some Twilight Zone shit.
Yeah, right. For what it's worth, there was also no law against public drunkenness. So
okay,
it was a good time to be alive.
Interesting. What a weird world to like be at the beginning of legal alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, just to be like at the forefront of just alcohol, period. Mm-hmm. You know, as we are now in the United States with legal weed. It's like we're like at the beginning of something.
Yeah, it is a bold new.
Totally brand new.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's definitely a weird, in the 20s when Coke was legal and all of that type of stuff. It's an interesting time when it's, it's almost like a new technology. It's a new way to impair your judgment or have fun or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the government, the powers that be don't even know how to make money off of it, so they just keep it illegal.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a mixture of how do they make money off of it, but also how do they regulate it and safety concerns. Because once you get into the problems, especially when people get on the road, for example, like how do you measure that? Because with alcohol, there's a blood alcohol content.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they have you look at a DVR or like choose from a lineup of snacks, and if you choose the wrong one,
right.
they know you're stoned.
Yeah. Just have a conversation.
No
with
sober
you for
person
2
ever
minutes.
chooses pizza combos.
Yeah.
Now,
God, never. Not even a college student.
Now, for those of you, for those of us that are not super hip to history, this Hammurabi. Who's this Hammurabi you speak of? Do you know
Hammurabi, the famed Babylonian leader? He's very, very wise man. He put down Hammurabi's code, which the phrase "an eye for an eye" that was taken from that code because the idea behind it being if someone physically injured you, if they plucked your eye from your body.
Now,
justice
how
would
often
be
is
served.
that happening?
They were
That's a difficult thing to
They were
do.
super into Kill Bill Part 2.
Okay.
Which really happened back then.
Yeah.
So it was basically a code of laws. He sort of introduced a code of laws into
So he's a Babylonian
Babylonian society.
Leader?
The Babylonian leader.
Okay.
Man, I would go as far as to say God King.
He said that. How long was it before the first sort of hippie cool coexist Babylonian was like, man, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind?
Yeah.
Was it 45 minutes or was it many years?
That guy was drowned in his own bottle water.
Yeah. His mouth was covered with his own bumper sticker.
Coexist with this.
Yeah. I recently saw a bumper sticker, and granted, I am more on the coexist side.
Yeah.
But I recently saw a bumper sticker that said, my other tolerance bumper sticker is also condescending.
That's amazing.
That's pretty
good.
great.
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
See, I
like that.
I don't have an issue with the message. It's just an issue with how you're presenting it.
Yeah. Which is never good.
Speaking of bumper stickers, there's the law enforcement officials in Los Angeles, the cops, the policemen. They have bumper stickers on the back of their cars that infuriate me because they completely missed they could have rhymed and it doesn't rhyme, and it's. The bumper sticker on the back of cop cars in Los Angeles say there's no excuse for domestic violence. And I start reading it, and I'm like, the minute I see it, I'm like, oh, there's no excuse for domestic abuse. Wait, no, it says violence. It's like, oh, damn you. If there's an opportunity to rhyme on a bumper sticker, you motherfucking better take it.
I'm sure that phrase is copyrighted by some sort of anti-domestic violence group, so they got sued by them.
Right. Or it's abuse could be mental and emotional, and sometimes there is an excuse for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to fuck with people.
How do you think we get amazing singers and artists?
Yeah, exactly. How do you think there are improv teams as well? Somebody emotionally fucked up with a child.
A truck full of plaid shirts and Chuck Taylors didn't just spill open on the highway. They have to be earned.
That's going to be the name of my improv team. Domestic violence abuse. I don't know. I don't.
Yes, and.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball.
Yes,
there.
and here's a fact about Tupac Shakur.
What? All right.
Here's a fact about Tupac Shakur that will shock and possibly thrill you.
Ooh, I like being shocked.
So Tupac Shakur may or may not be alive, still out for debate. He was actually supposed to audition to be a Jedi in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Picture that for a moment. Picture Tupac. Darth Shakur already sounds like it would just be a character in the Star Wars universe. So basically, this came out pretty recently, an interview with Rick Clifford, the former chief engineer for Death Row Records. He said in an interview, Tupac used to refer to him as Old Man for context. He said, "Old man, keep your fingers crossed. I got 3 movies coming up. One of them I got to read for George Lucas." It was later, it came out that he was reportedly being considered for a Jedi role. Lucasfilm has yet to comment on this. But it is worth noting that Tupac studied acting at the Baltimore School of Arts before starting his music career. Did a lot of Shakespearean acting.
He was a decent actor.
Yeah.
Not that a George Lucas script requires you to be.
No, especially not Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're opening a whole other can of worms there.
So which Forgotten Jedi would he have tried out for? Because if you throw out a name, it's not going to do anything for me. I sort of remember that Liam Neeson was in it, and Samuel L.
Liam
Jackson,
Neeson was Qui-Gon Jinn.
More than one.
My guess would have been either maybe he would have taken Samuel L. Jackson's role as Mace Windu, or perhaps like young Mace Windu.
Look at you with the names.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. I have to know it for my job, but also I watched that movie.
What's your job?
I write for Nerdist.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
you better keep
these
up.
names are a tax write-off.
Yeah. Christ Almighty, that first one was rough.
Yeah.
Well, luckily they
were all right.
The film got its revenge on me 3 years later when I accidentally drank a can of Episode 1 Mountain Dew unbeknownst to myself.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't recommend that. By the by. Sorry to get off topic for a moment, but this just happened in Japan this week, and it tore my brain in half. Yeah. So Japan, we all know, they're famous. Their snacks have a lot of these sort of oddball combinations. They have all these limited edition flavors. Like green tea Kit Kat's the most famous one.
Oh boy.
The rabbit hole goes much deeper. Frito-Lay Japan announced this week they're coming out with Mountain Dew flavored Cheetos.
Why?
Because gamers can't decide if they want to drink something or munch on something.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. I am not a gamer myself, but I'm not going to have that kind of sass about. Yes, you can figure out whether you want to put a drink or a chip in your mouth.
Listen,
shut the no.
Just blend it into a slurry, put it in a T-shirt can, and just blast it down my throat hole.
Fucking world, I want to get off.
If we're going to talk about Japanese people eating weird things and weird flavors, I'm going to take it dark for a minute here. And here's a fun fact for you guys. 9 American crewmen survived when their warplane crashed during World War II. 8 of them were captured by the Japanese and eaten.
Whoa.
So there's a little bit of a dark fact.
Yikes. Yeah. Did they taste like Mountain Dew or Cheetos?
Yeah. Only one of the crewmen survived because he was picked up by a passing submarine. And here's an interesting fact. The survivor, George H.W. Bush.
Wow.
Holy shit.
I had no idea.
There's a nonfiction book by writer James Bradley titled Flyboys, A True Story of Courage, that is out, a successful national bestseller. And it's about, it details the World War II incident of the execution and cannibalism of 5 of 8 American POWs on the Pacific island of Chichijima, one of the Ogasawara Islands, Benin Islands.
Ogasawara.
Perfect, yeah. What he said. And there was, it happened a lot. And I was reading on the Wikipedia page also, I'm going to go from memory here. There was like a Japanese Navy and a Japanese Army type of thing. And the Japanese Army who captured them had like a dinner party for the Japanese Navy and them, and they cooked these prisoner of war. They cooked them and they ate them as like hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. And then the Japanese Navy liked the idea, and I guess they enjoyed the taste, so they had another party of their own, and they started cannibalizing their own prisoners of war.
Holy shit!
Which is very interesting. I mean, it was back in the day. It was fucking. That was horrible.
Wow.
But,
yeah. No, I had no idea.
And now they're now they're eating Mountain Dew flavored Fritos. So I guess you know, I'd rather have them eat Mountain Dew flavored Fritos.
Yeah. Okay, all right. You know, I've rethought my position. I
until they come out with Soylent Green Cheetos.
I just watched Captain Phillips last night.
Yes.
How was that?
I really liked it.
It's really good.
I had no desire to see it, but it's screener season, and all my friends are like, "Dude, you got to watch it."
Yeah. That was, and we got a stack of screeners, and it's like, and that was the one that was least appealing to me for whatever reason. But my boyfriend wanted to see it, and so we put it in, and I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. But the Somali guys, who I think are at least one of them is like Somali American.
Yeah,
like,
they're a lot. They're actually all Somali American.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they grew up, I believe, in Minnesota.
Okay.
I interviewed Barkhad Abdi, the main guy.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Did you see it?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
He's great.
His story's insane.
Oh, I'm sure. And I remember having seen something in the paper about it, but I didn't want to read too much because I thought I might eventually see it and whatever. But my feeling watching it was like, what is the filmmaker's obligation to like feed these obviously starving people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though they're like, you know, they're not actual like, you know, off the boat Somalians or whatever. They're Somalian Americans, but they're like they're starving. They're clearly, they show all of like the physical signs of starvation.
Yeah.
So it's like, they have to continue to look like that for the story to be believable.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you can't go to craft services.
Yeah. Well,
but then afterwards, it's like, are they? Because I feel like they have an ethical obligation after the film is over to be like, we need to put you somewhere.
So
to
were
get
they
you up to,
not, not real actors?
No, they were real actors.
Okay, so
I don't think that.
they could have just been like multiple Christian Bales from The Machinist,
right?
I mean,
I have no sympathy for Christian Bale at all, but I do like. I don't think any of these guys like, you know,
purposely want
just to get in a character, fucking got into a zone.
I don't think
talk to their stepmom Gloria Steinem and got into like a zone or whatever. I feel like they're starving because they're poor.
I don't think they actually filmed in Somalia. I think it was just I know their metabolism is a little bit different, and yes, they do. A lot of them do have those signs of malnourishment.
Right.
But I think part of that is like the makeup department doing their magic to make it believable, to make you think that they are in this sort of ravaged, war-torn country.
Right. No, I mean, I don't think that they were actually there. I just feel like I just looked at them and I was like, this is not. They're not. This wasn't a camera trick.
Well, I think
fucking
you know what they probably
malnourished.
did is it's just clever casting. They probably just like found. So I remember back in college, I did some extra work to make extra money back in Boston, and they filmed Shutter Island, and they were casting for impossibly skinny people to look like these sort of malnourished, mistreated inmates. So I remember seeing that casting. I was like stretching all the way down Com Ave. Just you had this like line of like the skinniest, like these people were practically two-dimensional,
right?
And that's not a reflection of their personalities, but their physical stature,
right? So I mean, do you think then that the people who filmed the movie have any ethical obligation to those people after it's over? Like we've exploited your illness, to like, you know, to make our movie more authentic looking. Now it's over, and you got $80.
I'm sure they're like, hey, have as many appetizers as you want from the Tray Pass after party.
Or just go to the M&M Bowl as many
I think
times
they
you
sort
like.
of absolve themselves from a lot of responsibilities. Like, here's a Taft-Hartley slip. Go get 2 more of these, and you can join SAG.
Right. No, I don't think they have any like legal obligation. I just feel like ethically,
but they're required to serve X amount of meals to them. So there's that obligation at the bare minimum. But I want to say something about Barkhad Abdi, the lead Somali American actor. He. I believe he and his family escaped from Somalia to Ethiopia. Then they were smuggled out of Ethiopia to, I want to say, Turkey or Yemen. I can't recall which one off the top of my head. Excuse me. And then they, along with a lot of other families, won this lottery to emigrate to America. So because of that, he was able to he was driving a limousine in his hometown. Heard this casting call. He and his friends just went on a lark. He had no acting experience or anything like that. And they wound up getting a call back saying like, "Hey, we really like you guys. Want to bring in front of the director," and that they got the part. He and his friends, they didn't know how to swim. They had never been in the water. They'd never been in the ocean. So he had to learn how to swim. They had to learn how to operate these like skiffs at high speeds, like they've been doing it their whole life. He's a really great guy.
It's amazing.
Really incredible performance, and I'm really pulling for him this award season.
I wonder how many people are going to name their dogs Barkhad Abdi if he's successful this award season.
There's so many good performances this award season.
It's going to be a tough year for Oscar pools.
Three of them are Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey.
How much is he
been crushing it this year?
I'm really bummed there haven't been, like, a lot of the talk is about Dallas Buyers Club, but he was so good in Mud.
I didn't see that.
Mud is overlooked. That was one of my favorite movies.
Mud is being very overlooked this award season, and his little bit in Wolf of Wall Street was so good.
I still haven't seen that either.
Oh, that's so good.
That's
I haven't
good.
seen that either. I was going to see that with my parents.
Yeah.
Octogenarian parents in St. Louis, Missouri. But we opted instead to watch the screener of August Osage County. Big mistake.
Really?
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Oh,
I haven't
no.
seen that one.
I didn't like it, but it's also so dark.
Yeah.
It's so
that's Tracy Letts for you.
Yeah.
If Matthew McConaughey was in another Tracy Letts thing, Killer Joe, which came out last year, him and Billy Friedkin.
Right.
He's been on a roll, man. Matthew McConaughey's been picking some good films.
Yeah. Well, he put in his time just churning out like weird rom-coms one after another.
They were
now
so
he's
good.
got the pick of the litter.
Failure to launch. Fantastic.
Here's the
Ghosts
deal.
of Girlfriends Past.
One of the better.
I'll be honest.
How
I watch
to-
them all. I can't
got it on
not watch
Criterion.
rom-coms. I love rom-coms. I can't.
That's
I'm
fair.
I'm a sucker for them.
That's fair.
So horrible. Yeah. He was good. I watched Her. Have you guys seen Her?
I've not seen Her yet.
Her's my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah.
Her is good. It's not my
I didn't
favorite.
see
Wolf
it.
of Wall Street's better, but Her is really good.
Yeah.
Her is good.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Haven't seen
Yeah.
it. Got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Got a lot of
There's only
sitting
so
and
much time in
passively
the day.
watching. Did see American Hustle. Did not like it.
Me too.
You didn't like it?
I'm,
Didn't like it
I'm
at all.
right there with you.
like it at all.
I
Thought it was a
really
mess.
loved Silver Linings Playbook. I
too.
was underwhelmed.
But
there were
there-
some great
thought it was a
performances.
Mess.
American Hustle introduces us to the phrase "science oven."
Yeah.
Science oven. Yeah, that was
Science
that
oven.
is-
That was
that
a-
is
that
the
was a
best.
nice
Put the
part.
metal
I
in
like
the
that part.
science oven. Don't put the metal in
Yeah.
the science oven.
I already didn't like Live or Let Die, that song. It made me like it less.
I don't like that song.
There's a lot of messy little set pieces in there. And having lived through the 70s or part of it, it was not a fucking giant costume show the way that they have it in the movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You weren't always dressed like you were at Studio 54
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you wouldn't have your fucking cleavage out at the office. You know? You didn't have wide lapels all the time.
But they're con artists.
Such a mess.
I don't know.
Such a mess.
I don't know who I seen somebody post on Twitter. I can't remember who posted it, but they posted. I don't know what my favorite part of American Hustle was. It was either Christian Bale trying to do his impression of Ray Liotta from Goodfellas, or fucking Bradley Cooper doing his impression of Louis C.K.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good little moment. Louis C.K. I was not expecting him to show up, but he was great.
I didn't know
was
anything.
fine, yeah.
I didn't know anything about the movie before I seen the billboards and I thought it was about like the porn industry or something. I didn't know what it was about. Then I put in the screener and I'm just like completely blind in it.
I still don't know what it was about.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it's about the ab scam
It's a
thing,
true
which I
story.
remember having heard about when I was a kid. I remember there being jokes about it on Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, good. Finally, I'll figure out what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
Still don't know what that was. Still don't know what
and
that
even
was.
at the I didn't know what it was. After I watched the movie, I went and I read about it because it just interests the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And it like even in the movie, it says at the beginning. I love how at the beginning. See, I enjoyed it, so I'm going to defend it a bit. But before the movie starts, it's like some of these things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good little
It's like
disclaimer.
some
Whack.
of these things happen. But
But you know, and then it starts. And
It
I'm
was a
sorry,
long
like, if
movie,
you've-
though.
It was long, and it just never. For me, it just never went anywhere.
Yeah.
But it starts with that scene in the hotel with Jeremy Renner and whatever, and then then they come back around to that scene 25 minutes later.
Yeah.
And I was like, I still have no context for this scene. Like, I still don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
they didn't do a great job of saying, "Oh, we're going to do a flashback."
Right.
It
No,
almost made
I
it
knew what
seem
they were
like-
trying to do. I just figured, like, oh, if they're going back,
Yeah.
and the next time we see this scene, I will understand what is happening.
Exactly. And
I did not understand what was happening.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway,
Well,
Sorry. We've gone on a tangent.
speaking of
Talking about
things,
insider,
speaking of
entertainment.
things that take a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Watch this segue.
Here we go.
According to a New York Times article, and I think we may have mentioned this on the podcast before, but there's more. A Houston airport received so many complaints about the baggage wait times, times people had to wait to get their luggage after deplaning. So in response, they moved the baggage claim further away from the terminal. So the walk itself became longer than the wait.
wow.
And as a result, the number of complaints dropped dramatically because they just wanted to be engaged doing something, not
Right.
standing around and waiting.
Right.
This is also part of the reason why you usually find mirrors in elevators. You know, you get, and especially in a nice hotel, you get into the elevator, they'll either have something like TV to distract you or
Right.
a mirror. And this is because this came out of the post-World War II boom when high-rises were being erected all over the land, and there's a lot of complaints about elevator delays, elevators taking too long. And this is because they wanted to give people something to occupy their time so the wait will feel shorter, to make it artificially feel shorter. So with the mirrors, they can check out their hair, they can just like stare at themselves.
Or they can be
feel
less claustrophobic.
Yeah, or they can, you can ogle the other passengers trying to see all weird stuff at the different angles.
Wow, that's really interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Psychology stuff.
It makes sense. It's just one of those things you're like, oh, I'll go stare at myself for
It's like
17-floor ride.
Psychological stuff like that. It really interests me, and it's almost like it baffles me too. Is when anytime I'm on a plane or I'm traveling, how fast soon as the stewardess is like, okay, you can unbuckle your seatbelts. How many people just stand up right away to stand as awkwardly with their heads tilted? Like, everybody just like they've been tired of sitting for 3 hours that they need to stand uncomfortably. And it's so cramped and packed. It's like, look, dude, just sit down for a bit.
But that feels better somehow to do that. It feels better to do something new
like
with your body.
And then it's like you're gonna stand, you're gonna stand awkwardly for another 15 minutes until you get off the plane. It's like, I just sit in the plane waiting. I'll generally leave last just so I don't need to wait for anybody.
I'm one of those monsters. I just have to be off the plane as soon as possible. Like whenever I travel, I try to make it that I just travel with carry-ons.
I only carry on.
Me too.
I hate having to wait for my luggage.
I hate it
because then you also run the risk. Then if my luggage gets lost, it's my fault. I fucked up.
Yeah.
Not because like some dude accidentally dropped it way back in at LAX.
Right?
Yeah.
And the person that you complain to has nothing to do with what happened.
Exactly.
The actual
sorry.
Yeah. There's nothing they can do whatsoever.
Here's a plastic bag that you can use as underwear.
Airports are so full of just impotent rage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just people yelling at the wrong people.
Absolutely.
Always. There's always somebody pissed off, and they're always pissed off at the wrong
Trickle
person.
down pissing off.
Yeah.
You
stand
need
uphill.
You need to blame somebody.
Yeah.
You need to vent, and it's it really upsets me. It's it's even like that, like with like at servers or at restaurants. People will always get angry at the server when a lot of the times it's just it's
somebody
a
else's
mess up
fault
in the kitchen or whatever, and it's like
Yeah. I a couple years ago, I was going home for Christmas, and there was a big snowstorm, and so my flight was canceled, and there was a huge long line, and like a harried airline worker trying to get people on other flights to go, to get home and whatever. And so, like, the only flight that I could get on was like a full 2 days later.
Oh wow!
And I wasn't going to miss Christmas, but I was going to get there like late on Christmas Eve or something like that. And it's not even like it's that big a deal. I like to spend Christmas with my family, but if I can't do it, I can't do it.
Yeah.
We'll move it or whatever. It's not whatever. We're not like so religious that we all have to go to mass together or whatever. But it was just I was going to miss it for a couple days. And this woman, the woman behind the counter, like now in retrospect, really went above and beyond the call of duty. Got me on a Southwest flight that was going to leave, like had to physically get up and walk and talk to another agent and whatever. And she came back and she's like, "Here's the best I can do. This flight leaves in 2 days and whatever. That's the best I can do. Is that good enough?" And I was like, "Not really, but whatever. Thanks."
Yeah.
And I was kind of a dick about it. And then I took 10 steps away after she gave me my new ticket, and I was like, I was just snippy to somebody who really tried to help me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then she was dealing with somebody else. I can't go back and be like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about my behavior 10 seconds ago." I just had to kind of sit with it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Somebody like went above and beyond to help me, and I was like a little snippy about it.
Go back. Excuse me, miss.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That would just So whatever. That haunts me to this day. That was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely. As I've gotten older, I've tried to think of I've tried to be more like anytime somebody's helping me, be it someone like that or whatever, or at a grocery store, anytime someone's helping me, I will make a conscious effort. And my friends make fun of me for this, but I'll ask their name. I'll be like, "What's your name?" And then as soon as they say me, I'll be like, "Oh, thank you, Cheryl," or whatever. Just because I want to make it an effort to show that I appreciate you helping me or trying to help me or whatever.
I recognize that you are a human being.
Exactly, and you have a name, and I want to thank you by name. And it's my friends make fun of me for it, and then on occasion the people will be like look at me like, "Why do you want to know my name?" And it's like, because I want to thank you by my name.
Are you a cop?
Yeah. Cheryl, are you a cop? No. But yeah, so that's here's an interesting fact while we're talking about people serving or helping people out or all that. I got a lot of friends in the service industry, they're waiters and all of that.
Right.
And California, it just is getting passed in California, and friends of mine in Florida, it's getting passed as well. And I'm assuming it's going to sweep the entire United States. Generally, when you go out to eat and you have a party of 5 or more or 6 or more, the restaurant has an auto-grat policy, which ensures
automatic gratuity for those who are not with the industry lingo.
It's pretty much when a restaurant, they include the tip on your bill, so that way the server gets compensated for all the effort and the time and dealing with putting in getting you refills on your lemonade and
for
all
dealing
that.
With you jerks.
Absolutely. California and Florida, and I'm assuming the rest of the United States are making that they're making restaurants remove that, so restaurants can no longer include the tip on. They can no longer auto-grant because the government and the IRS considers that a service charge. So then not only does the restaurant need to withhold that from you until they pay taxes on it, then they need that'll reflect onto your pay stub, which then you'll need to pay more taxes on. And it's a huge thing to where, servers are upset and they don't want big parties anymore because
that's fucked up.
It's really fucked up, and especially in states not in California, the waitresses and servers only get paid like $2 an hour. So it's completely bullshit that their tips are now going to be reflecting. It's bad enough they get stiffed on a lot of bills as it is. Stiffed on tips from people, and to now have big parties of 6 or more who want to stiff a tip. That's that used to be
because it's never the 6. It's always like some giant family who shows up, and everybody thinks somebody else is going to tip.
Exactly.
It's like, listen, if you go out to dinner with your family and you get a $300 bill and you leave $300, you shouldn't have gone out to eat at this restaurant, or maybe period.
Exactly. And now people will be able to do that legally because restaurants can no longer impose an automatic gratuity.
That's really awful. I used to work actually at a high-end restaurant down the street here on the Sunset Strip, and we would get some of the huge bills sometimes, and some of the worst tips I've ever seen. Like, the moment you got a black card, like an Amex black card, you're like, well, fuck, I'm not making any money tonight. I'm not getting a tip, because you don't get an Amex black card by giving your money away to servers, apparently.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jesus. People are monsters.
Yeah. Well, speaking of...
So if you're going to learn anything, if anybody's listening, just to, be cautious of when you go out to eat, treat your servers well. They'll treat you well. They'll give you the best service. Just make sure, to take care of them. Take care of your bartenders, your servers.
Build in that 18 to 20% in your little calculation before you go out to eat.
Absolutely.
And speaking of, workers' rights and things like that, the 5-day work week. 5-day work week, it's a staple in the American working life now, but it wasn't always that way.
No, it certainly is not in my life.
No. I mean, I'm still working nights, weekends, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But your standard issue work week,
Monday to Friday,
for the sake of argument, Monday through Friday, 5-day work week. In the United States, it was first instituted back in 1908 by a New England cotton mill. To afford Jewish workers the ability to celebrate and adhere to Sabbath, which falls on Saturday. Followed in 1926, Henry Ford began shutting down automotive factories for all of Saturday and Sunday. 1929, the Amalgamated Clothing Workers of America Union was the first union to demand a 5-day work week and receive it. And after that, the rest of the country slowly followed, but it wasn't until 1940, as a provision of the 1938 Fair Labor Standards Act, that mandated a maximum 40-hour work week into effect, and the 2-day weekend was adopted nationwide.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, I know. My great-grandmother, somebody just got an email.
Let's wasn't mine. Mine's on silent.
My great-grandmother worked at a state-run mental institution. And here's a double whammy of things that don't exist anymore: state-run mental institutions, and like a 28-day, like she had like 2 days off a month.
Okay.
So my grandmother was basically like raised by neighbors because she got this job, and it was the only job that she could get, and she had like a weekend off a month.
Jeez.
To go and see her, and I remember hearing that story and being like, they can't do that. That's not legal. Well, okay, here we go. And when I was growing up, all the malls and everything were closed on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In Missouri. Like, everything was just closed.
Really?
And that was the way it was. If you wanted something on a Sunday, you had to get it on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's funny. To a lesser extent, when I first moved out here to Los Angeles, I'm from Boston originally, the Boston area, I was blown away by the sheer amount of places and variety of places you could purchase alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, thanks to blue laws in Massachusetts, you couldn't purchase alcohol on Sunday anywhere.
Right. Oh, wow.
And even then, you can only really get it at a liquor store.
Yeah.
Not real. Some grocery stores have it, but that's a new thing.
Okay.
For the most part, it has to be a liquor store. So they call in Boston a packy.
Packy store, I went to school in Worcester. And we used to have to go to Nashua, New Hampshire on Sundays. If we were, like,
well, you want that
desperate for beer.
tax-free.
Yeah. Gross.
Right.
or just go to some shitty bar and spend a quarter for a draft beer.
Yeah.
Speaking of drinking and drinking alcohol,
it all comes back to alcohol.
They always they say when you're drinking or whatever and you're having a good time, once you break the seal, you're going to go to the bathroom a lot. So when you
is that actually true? Or
I don't know.
I think it might be a mental thing. In my practical experience, it has held true. But I think it is one of those things where you're just like, oh, I peed recently. I have to pee again. I should just pee.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And there's this is a fun fact. My buddy Scott Keys, shout out to Scott. He listens to this podcast.
What's up, Scott?
He mentioned this to me maybe a month, 2 months ago. Then an acquaintance on Twitter mentioned this fact to me as well. If you're at your computer or whatever, just Google law of urination. The law of urination, and it's a
Keep safe search on. Put safe search on.
It's not a Matthew McConaughey romantic comedy. Him and Kate Hudson
coming in 2015.
Here's the deal. I would watch it, and it would be good. But anyways, basically what it is scientists have done studies, and they have found that all mammals weighing more than 2.2 pounds, a kilogram, empty their full bladders in about 20 seconds due to gravity, bladder, and urethra size. Larger animals not only had larger bladders, but they also had longer and wider urethras. And the length of the urethra increases the force of gravity on the urine, which in turn increases how fast pee flows out of the body. So really, no matter how bad you need to pee or how long you've been waiting, essentially every mammal can empty a full bladder in about 20 seconds. So there's never, like, people are always like, oh, I had the longest pee ever. Yeah. It was not longer than 20 seconds.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like when Galileo dropped the oranges to see if everything fell at the same rate. He also had 2 animals pee out the window just to be sure.
An elephant and a little tiny mouse. Oh, no, I guess it would be more than 2.
A bunch of mice.
A super mouse.
I had 2 pounds of mice.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. And I guess what we're talking about, here's a food fact. We'll do a
food fact.
It's so interesting. We don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Let's move on to a whole new topic.
Well, think about the next time I'm peeing. Time yourselves. Send us your best times, and winner gets a prize.
And real quick about peeing. This was on one of our earlier podcasts, but if you're a newer listener and you haven't listened to the early ones, if you're a guy and you're using a urinal and there's like a bumblebee or a shell on the bottom of it, aim for that because that's for that maximizes the splash displacement, so it doesn't splash.
So you won't have tiny
so if there's
flecks.
a shell or like a bumblebee icon on the bottom of the urinal, aim for that because it'll have it as least amount of splashback.
And this was also going back to Japan for a moment. They're also starting to put video games in men's rooms.
I heard about
these
that.
urinals. So like they have like a little game up on the screen. You have the target sensor on the urinal pad, and then depending on how much you displace and put on the pad, it'll make stuff move on the screen.
It. But the game will only last at least 20 seconds.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all we have. That's all we have attention spans for anyway.
Yeah.
Right. That's about all I can do in Candy Crush these days.
Yeah.
Like
Candy
I start
Crush.
playing and then it's like, what am I doing?
Watch out for those. Watch out for that chocolate.
I've never. Oh, speaking of chocolate, I've never played Candy Crush, but I'm assuming there's chocolate in it.
There is
right?
chocolate.
Eventually, chocolate's evil though.
I've never played it. So
chocolate's your enemy.
Chocolate's the enemy in Candy Crush. Fun fact.
It's an enemy.
But anyways, about chocolate, here's a food fact for you guys. German chocolate cake isn't actually German.
Was?
No. German chocolate cake
German
is not.
for what, you guys? It's German for what?
Was. It is named after an American chocolate maker named Sam German, who developed the dark chocolate originally used in the recipe. So
how about that?
It's not actually.
Here's something I learned recently.
Go on.
Smart and Final is named for the founders of Smart and Final, whose last names were Smart and Final.
No way.
Swear to God.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
For those of you listening not in California, Smart and Final is essentially like a Sam's Club or Costco. It's a little bit smaller.
But no membership required.
No membership required. It's a lot smaller, but it's very bulky oriented stuff.
And if you think about it, that makes sense because Smart and Final doesn't make sense.
And
I mean, Smart makes sense, but really all grocery purchases are final.
They have no return policies. What they want you to know. So be smart about what you select.
Right.
Smart and Final. That's interesting.
Another fact about Smart and Final, and unfortunately urine. Back when I was living in Koreatown, I had to call an exterminator one day to my home, and he informed me that one of the most horrifying places he's ever had to go is Smart and Final because there's rat urine on the tops of like everything. Oh, wow. So be discerning about what you get. Maybe wash it off, or just go to a different grocery store. They're good for certain things, but just be aware. Be aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Smart and Final if you're listening. Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger. It's what this exterminator told me.
Don't have your rat piss on the messenger.
Here's the thing. There's a Smart and Final like 2 blocks from me, so I go there all the time.
It's
quickest.
Just wipe your shit down. Wipe your shit down.
It's sterile.
I just go there all the time and buy rat urine. I'm the one.
I have no idea.
Feces is the stuff you got to watch out for. Urine, totally cool.
Especially rat urine.
Probably.
Yeah.
Don't take that as that may not be a fact.
German chocolate cake is not German, is what we take
Interesting.
out of this.
It's also not tasty.
It's not. I don't like it at all.
like it at all.
Take that,
It's always like a weird brown,
Yeah.
right? It's got that weird brown frosting.
Yeah, and
everything.
there's just enough coconut or whatever in it to make it just feel bad for your teeth.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like biting on.
You're better off
bits of-
going for an actual German thing, Black Forest cake.
Oh sure,
Yeah.
delicious. Delicious.
See, you got to trust the authentic Germans, not this Sam German.
Sam German. Who the hell are you?
So and so.
What a name, Sam German.
Yeah. Well,
That's it's almost our time, right?
Yeah, I think
we're getting up there.
we're approaching.
Wow, that flew by.
I
Approaching
know.
an hour, what are we
Time
at?
flies when you're learning
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Time flies when your brain is empty.
Yeah.
and you're filling it with random shit.
Here's one fact. This is interesting to me. I thought this was really cool. I always cram in short facts that are really cool at the end, or I try to anyways. The tumbleweed. Everybody knows what a tumbleweed is. It isn't a collection of dead plants and debris blowing around, but an actual plant that disconnects from its roots to blow around and spread seeds. So it's not like it's not a bunch of different weeds.
Yeah.
It's not
like the Earth's version of a hairball.
Exactly.
Correct.
Which I thought it was.
It's not a bunch of random weeds hairballing around the desert. It's actually when a weed matures and disconnects from its roots, it'll roll and drop off other seeds. So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Man.
Did not know that.
So the
Really
Old
fucking
West
cool
wasn't as gross of a place as we all think.
yeah, it's still pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
pretty gross.
But gotta love that sepia tone they gave the world.
Is it wrong that if I lived in
Swinging
the
doors.
is it wrong that if I lived in the Old West, I would probably have been a robber?
No,
Like,
I
I'm
think we all would have
completely-
been, right?
I mean,
I'm completely okay.
You made your opinions on stagecoaches well known.
Yeah, and true. I mean, like, where was the law and order? You know
None.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, half of the country was uninhabited, so
Yeah.
you kind of made up the rules as you went along. You
Absolutely.
are all de facto outlaws,
Exactly.
right? If there is
Yeah.
no law. Speaking of, today is the day of this Chris Christie George Washington Bridge thing.
Okay.
Have you been following that?
I have not.
It's fucking crazy. There was a mayor in Fort Lee, New Jersey. He was a
Okay.
Democrat who refused to endorse him. And he didn't need to endorse him. He was already going to win by a wide margin.
Yeah.
But he endorsed his Democratic rival, who was this
Okay.
woman, Barbara Buono. And so as punishment, he had his aides talk to people at the Port Authority and block off 2 lanes of the George Washington Bridge for what he said was a traffic study. But what it basically did was to turn the entire town of Fort Lee, New Jersey, into just total gridlock.
Oh, my
And it was the
God.
first week of school. It was the anniversary of September 11th. So all these people wanted to go to this memorial and they couldn't go. And now they're like it's been speculated that it was for punishment.
Yeah.
But he kept denying. So today, the New York Times came out with these emails that like it specifically like his aides are like it's time to fuck up Fort Lee with some traffic.
Wow.
And then somebody else is like I almost feel bad for the kids. And then another aide is like they're kids of Bono voters. Who gives a fuck? Like it is some deep level Soprano
Wow.
shit. And it's like I almost appreciate the ruthlessness, but like go have that conversation in a parking garage.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You know?
Or do it over Snapchat so that stuff
Whatever.
destroys
right,
itself.
Right. That's bush
It
league.
always like. As the prankster in me, that's fucking genius and hilarious, and I love that type of. I love that large
Except
scale.
ambulances couldn't get through.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fire trucks couldn't get through. School buses couldn't get through.
There's other ways you could have done a large scale prank on a dude,
Right.
And I'm all for that. But when you factor in like ambulances and health and children, I disdain that. But I also disdain the incompetence of doing wrong things via email.
Yeah.
Never
Stop it.
stop having
Stop it.
correspondence.
Yeah.
Like
Stop
that's
Someone needs
How many times do we have to say we have no privacy?
No.
we have no privacy.
no privacy.
Someone needs to invent an app that, like, it's for your email, like a Google, like a Gmail lab or
Yeah.
something, where this message will self-destruct 5 seconds after you're done reading it.
Yeah, it's like a Snapchat for emails. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
listen, you read this, you click delete, or you have 3 minutes to read this.
Yeah.
Once you open it.
I'm sure they deleted it, but it just the shit exists somewhere.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
Snapchat shit, by the way, also exists.
Yeah, they just got
Of
hacked.
course.
Yeah.
It exists somewhere.
Yeah, it always does. It
Keep
has
your dick
to.
in your pants.
Anytime you're sending out files of photographs, there's a photograph
Right.
floating somewhere. So
Yeah.
it needs to be.
Yeah, I wonder how big the NSA's dick pic folder is.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Gigs
Someday.
and gigs.
Someday. That'll be a coffee table book.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, Snowden's waiting for that one.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I've actually learned some stuff.
Absolutely.
Good.
Thank
I
you.
might forget it immediately, but
That's
I have
fine.
learned some stuff.
We'll have a recorded record of it.
Perfect.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We while we wrap up, what do you got to plug? I noticed. I read you just became the host of a new podcast.
Yeah, called International Waters, which should come out the same day this does.
Very nice.
MaximumFun.org. I'm also doing a show called the Friday 40 right here at the Nerd Melt Theater
with
Scott Gimple.
EP of The Walking Dead. For those of you who don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, is that an ongoing Friday show, or is it just once?
We do it like once a month or so because
Okay.
the stupid fucking Walking Dead has really
it's-
wrecked our plans. Poor Scott is in Atlanta
Yeah.
with zombies all the time. So we're doing it at the 24th here at Nerdist, and then on the 31st at the West Side Eclectic.
Okay.
Both in Los
Awesome.
Angeles.
It's I've seen it before. It's a really fun show. So
Cool,
if you're
thanks,
in the
man.
area, go check it out.
Yeah,
Thanks.
go check that out. What else you got
Yes,
to plug?
please do.
Your Twitter? Your
just
anything?
anything that else is coming up, I'll plug
Awesome.
it on my
Cool.
Twitter, which is at Dave Holmes.
At Dave Holmes on Twitter.
Thanks, you guys.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And you can also find us on Twitter. I am at OsteoFerocious.
And I am my name is Razzle2.
And you can also find the number 2. Yes, it's crucial to finding Razzle. But you can also find the podcast on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. On Twitter, we're at TWL Podcast. Gmail, TWLpodcast@gmail.com. Facebook, just type out the name of the podcast Today We Learned, and you will find us. Or, send us tips, send us, you got a fact, we want to read it. Send it to us, tweet it to us, shoot it up in the sky. Hire someone to do skywriting. We want to know.
We want to know.
So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah. Have a great January. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That's it.
Yeah.
At the end of the show, you can't say it anymore, so Happy New Year.
Get it out while you can. Yep. HNY.
HNY. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.